I
make
gotta
sure
look
y'all hear
for
the
it.
music first before I started the show. Because if I would
Man, we
have,
don't, look, look, who has faith in you? I do. And who has faith in me,
Me.
Jerry? So therefore, he has faith in you. So
it's a
Hebrews
revolving
11:1,
circle.
my boy.
It's a revolving circle.
what that thing say, Jerry? Preach to us
Faith.
now.
Faith
Mm,
is the substance of things hoped for and the
Mm,
evidence of things not seen.
mm,
You know, not
evident.
not not what you predict, but the
mm,
Nah.
evidence, solid
mm.
evidence of what is not seen.
Evident.
Wow.
And the truth shall
Amen.
set you what?
Free
The
Free.
truth
every
will
time.
Hallelujah.
set you free.
Mm.
And, just off of that, welcome to the pre-snap
Hey.
read. You already know it is a whole little vibe out here, man. Hey, this one of my young artists. This, a FAMU alumni, man. Go. This week, 12, I think. Week 12.
Yeah.
I think we're needing to start to evaluate where we are now because the time is moving past us, and I really don't know what day it is. So
The
don't ask
time
me
is
what week
slipping
we're on.
away.
Sure, but you already
Oh,
know. Welcome to the pre-snap read. It's your boy Bridges on top, Ron Bridges. You already know what it is. I'm from the South Kakalaki. I moved to Florida, so
spectacular.
I adopted a jit, so I'm a adopted jit. I'm a country boy adopted a jit. So,
Country boy G.
but we got our lovely
Ron, I'm
co-host.
not
She
gonna lie to
she
you. I thought you said you adopted a jit. I said, well,
no, I know
congratulations,
I'm
Dad.
a adoptive jit. Because I'm from South Carolina, a country boy,
Oh
and I
my
came to Florida.
God.
So I became a jit.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
Shoot,
Understood.
but
Understandably so.
any other case, my lovely co-host, actually, she this way, my lovely co-host, she missed last week, and I had to do a job, and I told her about herself that, hey, I can't be myself if
I'm
you
sure
ain't
you
here.
did
it,
fantastic.
Mm.
I'm sure
it,
you did
it,
fine.
was
Look,
it was
it's
it was all
Jason.
right. It was a
Well,
little
I'm back.
shaky.
I'm back and I'm
We love
better.
to have you back. We love to have you back. And
Thanks,
you already
guys.
know we got our one and only doggy dog down there, Jerry Goodson.
Aya, aya, aya.
Here it is. There it goes.
Shoot,
There it
yeah.
went.
The gang is back together, so we already on some gang stuff every
Gang,
day,
gang.
all day. Exactly. So we gonna roll ahead, go on, Robin, do your thing, do your thing.
Okay, so we actually started talking about this, guys, before we started, the show. And so the conversation got really nice and heated. So we're going to bring it to the show, right? So FAMU, and Ron brought this to me directly, right? FAMU has an 18-person committee that is utilized to hire the new athletic director, right? So as we know, AD Courtney is, effectively resigned and is moving on wherever he's going in the nation. So therefore, FAMU needs a new athletic director. And I guess the overall question that most people will have, well, it just kind of depends on how you look at it, right? Is why is it necessary to have 18 people to be on that committee, right? You would think that you don't necessarily need, and Ron, you can kind of take this of
Mm-hmm.
like, what was your initial response when you saw that that was the headline for as many people that was used to hire athletic director?
I was like, first when I saw 18, that's kind of a big number to hire somebody. Just in my head, this is my initial thought. I was like, damn, that's a lot. It's like, shit,
Yeah.
I feel like I need to be on the committee. If they got 18, might as well have 19, 20, 21.
I mean,
Shoot, might as well have the whole football team while you at it. Shoot, let them be on the
What?
committee. I mean,
we said
if it's
18, not
18,
80.
well, hey, shoot, eight's going all around this thing. Might as well just keep going. But
Mhm.
I feel like, just me personally, I feel like that's a lot of people. Like I was telling Robin earlier, that's a lot of back and forth going. That's a lot of, oh, I like this person. Oh, I don't like this person because he said this. Or I love this person because he said that. Then to me, it's just like a whole bunch of talking and people not listening to each other. Just for me, I feel like the only people that need to be on that committee is the head coaches, and that's it. Head coaches and a couple of assistant coaches, and the president and the financial advisor, and that's it. Those are the only people that need to be on the committee, and that's probably like 15 people tops, probably, or less than that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
about
how
Yeah.
10.
I feel about it. But we like at the end of the day, we really don't know who's on the committee. But I know Coach Simmons is not on the committee, and that's kind of like a
Yeah.
downfall.
Yeah. So where I kind of took a seat from was one, working in higher or higher education athletics. Like it's a business. We know that. We know it's a business. Really, colleges in totality, just taking out athletics, is a business, right? We run you if you are exchanging money in some form or fashion, whether it's for a skill, whether it's for a certificate, a degree, whatever, it's a business. Cool. So in that sense, when you're thinking about it in that perspective, businesses can, or like it's inevitable, experience some type of bias, right? Or businesses can experience, on the latter part of it, or the part that we're trying to prevent is, you know, conflict, or people that are trying to swindle the business, trying to take over, trying to jeopardize it. The more people that you have to protect that business, the better your foundation would be, right? Like if you were to be, a part of the security guard for the White House, your black ass is not going to be the only one that's going to be standing outside hot and ready. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you're not,
Yeah.
because there are so many different, entry ways, like perimeter wise. If you're thinking about the White House, like they have so many different entrances and exits and windows and all that shit. You need people to oversee those aspects of the White House in order to function properly. Now, to a smaller level, when we're thinking about college athletics, yes, is it kind of considered a large amount of people, 18 to hire one person? Yes, but you need those different factors of people. And really, when we honestly think about like numbers, you said you thought all the head coaches, right, should be on the committee, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because that's who the athletic directors are overseeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Athletic directors oversee coaches, they oversee facilities, they oversee students.
Yeah.
So that's already three different departments you need people ahead of. But see, those people have people that they're in charge of too. So now you got head coaches and their assistants. I would want my assistant in on the conversation of who we hiring, because when I need them to take over what I'm doing, they need to understand what my boss does. So when you really calculate that out, you know what I'm saying? Like FAMU has what, maybe 11 teams, right? Like total teams. If you're thinking about football, baseball, softball, I don't know. Yeah, they have softball team,
Mm-hmm.
volleyball, like all of those teams make up. You're looking at 18 people off rip. So I think the better question is not really the quantity of people in the room, but who are those people? And I think that's more so why your question is really important, because if we said, okay, yes, numbers wise, if we had every head coach and their assistant, or facilities, business management, student affairs, if they're all in the room, why is Willie not?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's a head coach. He has assistants. So are you saying that his assistant coaches in that committee? Because, okay, like that's kind of strange, but at least there's a representation for football,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think that is the better question, because the more votes or the more perspectives you have, the less likely you will have a bias, the less likely your decision will be subjective, right? Because you're going to have my perspective, Jerry's perspective, Ron's perspective, right? John's perspective over there, Sarah's perspective over here, and that creates a more like open conversation of who we're looking at to hire. Now, we don't know who's in this committee, and I think that should be like public knowledge. I think the committee
Yeah.
membership, or at least the departments where they're coming from, like, okay, this is a representative of football, so on and so forth, like we were just mentioning. I think that needs to be discussed or made clear. We ain't got to know their business. You know what I'm saying? We're not in the room. But I mean, essentially, as alums, that affects us, or current students, that affects them. They have the right to know. You know what I'm saying? At least send them an email, talk about, this is who we're hiring, and these who's are responsible for hiring the person. So I don't know. As long as they do right, it is, and that's, I guess that's the next step, is whoever is in the room, even if it's not the people that we would hope. They need to do right by the process. Don't put something in there because you went to high school with them back in '88. We don't,
I
What?
think,
we don't want that.
yeah, yeah. I think they're not disclosing the names because if it turns out to be a mistake, whoever the hire is, everybody knows who to point to. It's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, it's your fault that we don't have a good athletic director. I think that's
Yeah.
why they're kind of hiding the names. Um, but from a different standpoint, I do believe like that FAMU is taking this very seriously because it's been what how
Hmm.
many ADs that have they had that's been short term. So it's like this is an ongoing problem. We see the same problem over and over. Let's
But
get real serious about this and implement 18 different people to get your opinions and make sure that we don't make the bad decision like we made. Not even saying that he's a bad idea. I think I like the guy. I like Courtney, but to not make decision of not having a guy that we all agree on
Yeah.
Jerry, at the end of the day, just be real. It At the end of the day, it wasn't Courtney's fault
at all. No, it
Hmm.
wasn't.
because
Yeah.
that's just like us three. All right, I'm Courtney. Robin, you're the president, and Jerry, you're the over finances. All three of us signed that contract. So you're telling me that I only read the contract and y'all two didn't, but you
Right.
signed it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, because being honest with you, Grambling and AD didn't get fired because they did the same contract we did.
Hmm.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is they all want to get somebody that they're all on the same page with. Like they were constantly butting heads with Courtney. That's what I'm thinking. And so
Mm-hmm.
now when they have
I
everybody that's
think.
in on it has a chance to interview, now it'll be more of a oh I know what we're bringing to the table.
Well, see, this is I'm a play devil advocate on that perspective, Jerry, because I don't think that in the beginning people disagreed with Courtney.
Oh
I
no, not
think
at all.
like the process, but that goes along with what you're explaining. Like the people that are on this committee, they do want to be on one accord, be on the same page, same chapter, same book before they hire on person. I think the same process happened with Courtney. I think down the line there was a shift. There was okay. I didn't think that's what you meant when you said that. Like I heard you, right? We was in the same room. We signed the same paper. It said the same, ideas being thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what I walked away from understanding that the way now you're understanding it. Or maybe Courtney did do a 360 and flipped up and switched out. You know, because we only know what we know. And
Right.
Mm-hmm.
clearly it's very limited. Otherwise, we would be understanding of who's in that room and so on and so forth. So I think it doesn't necessarily have to do with being on the same page. It is more so where can we see this going? You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
even if, let's say, a hard ball is thrown at us, how do we recover or how do we prevent, you know what I'm saying, detrimental damage? And there was something now, again, this is a little devil advocate to your point too, Ron, is like, okay, no, it wasn't Courtney's fault. But did Courtney have something to do with the impact of the decision? Absolutely. We may not know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it could have had good intent behind it. Because how many times have people be like, oh, I ain't mean to. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to, uh, sit up here and get our names being drugged in the mud. Like, no, nobody really means to do those things. Some people do. But I don't think that it necessarily has to be a negative thing that he's done. I just think that there is a level of accountability that he's taking because he's responding to it as if he's like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like when he made his resignation statement, he didn't make a fuss. He was like, fuck them, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like, like he didn't say that. He didn't say that. Sorry, I'm
Right.
cursing. Y'all know I'm not dang, we grown. But I'm like, he didn't say that. He said, I love what FAMU has done for me and what the time I've had. Da, 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 da. The peaches and cream statement, right? Just like how Art Briles, he's like, this is the right fit for me. No, nigga, you was doing weird stuff and we didn't like that. Okay.
Right.
That's why you're not here. No. So
Yeah.
again, but he knew, Art Briles knew,
Grambling
Courtney
knew.
knows. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Granlund, Hugh Jackson, Courtney knows. You know that he has done something, and I think that's why it's like, okay, Courtney may have, you know, gotten the shorter end of the stick. We don't know. Or, you know, maybe he is being wronged. But there's an element of like, okay, now that we've gotten past this, how do we prevent that shit from happening again? And
Right.
that's what this 18-person committee needs to do, who, regardless of who they are, where they come from, what all of blah, 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 blah. I think it's really important to just understand that we don't want to repeat history, right? That's why it's a story. We want to
Mm-hmm.
create a future now, right? Like that's where we're trying to go with it. So I don't know. I think there's so many ways to look at this, but the ultimate, I feel like, consistent foundation for everybody should be is what we about to do.
So, so going back to the Coach Simmons statement, maybe he was in on it on the last 80 that was chosen. And maybe it was like, well, you sat here and gave your input, and you were voting so hard for Courtney. Maybe we should keep you out this time, so that we don't make the same mistake. Just kind of thinking about different ways that possibilities that could be going on,
That's a good
but we
way of
don't know.
thinking about it, Jerry, because that kind of, if we were to parallel the process of like jury duty, you don't have the same jury for every case, right?
Right,
Sometimes you get a different jury for the same type of case. It's
right.
still different because the party members are different. That's why you have to factor it out. So that's a good point. Maybe it's just a
But
whole set of new people.
Hmm.
I got a point. I got a point. I got 2 points actually. Number one, you don't want nobody in there that's going to slow down process. Because
Very
what
true.
Courtney, if they can do what Courtney did in the amount of time he had, then all hands down, you can do it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, me personally, I do not want an FAMU alum in that office. Me
Mm,
personally, because I
that's a
feel
bold
like
statement.
Why do you say that? Why do you say it can't be the norm?
because I feel like they're going to move on old school FAMU time and not move on modern day time.
Okay, so you're saying that if I wanted to be an athletic director, you would not vote for me
I feel
at FAM.
like I feel like Courtney was the from what I know for what the time I've been there, I feel like he was one of the best athletic directors FAMU had in that time period because
Hmm.
he was outsourced. He didn't know like, I'm supposed to be a good old boy system and do what y'all say, and nah, I'm a press the envelope and I'm a get stuff done because stuff is not up to date. The locker room is not up to
Right.
Hmm.
date. The field's not up to date. Softball field not up to date. Like we need to have these things done, and I
Hmm.
think that's why he was really like pushing a lot of buttons because he was getting stuff done. And
Hmm.
FAMU, old school FAMU is not used to that. And you'd
So
be
that
like,
okay, but that goes back to my question: would you vote for me if I wanted to be athletic director at FAM?
it depends on if you're gonna get stuff. If it depends on if you're gonna get stuff done, and do you have that
No,
old
no, no,
school
no, 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 no,
FAMU
no, 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 no,
mentality?
baby. No, 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 no. You can't say it like
He
that. You
straddled the
have to
fence
go off the
now.
base of no, no, no.
Yes.
You gotta go off the
Hey,
basis. Listen, my point is about to come together. I promise. But
all
I
right.
just want you to be authentic when you are placed in front of, that question, Ron. If I were to put my name in the hat, you know me now. You know me. You know enough about me, right? And let's just say I added on a couple of different experiences that helped me, be quali- qualified for the position, right? Would you
Mm-hmm.
vote for me?
Knowing you, yes, I would vote for you. I
Why?
would. Why?
Why?
Because I know you're an innovator.
Okay, but
I
wait. Am I an alum?
Mm-mm.
Yes, you are. But I know. But Robin.
Uh-oh.
Get this. I know you gonna push the envelope though.
Okay,
But
but see,
You're going
that's
to
my
step on
point.
people's toes. But I don't
I
want
am. I'm
nobody
going to step
in
on
there
their
that's
neck.
not going to step on people's toes.
Okay, but this
so,
is this goes back to, I'm gonna make my point clear, Ron. Your issue is not with FAMU alum. It's with people that have become complacent with their history and think that that's going to be enough to continue moving with the times. And it's
Right.
not.
I
You
think you're
want somebody that's in there that's open minded, just like how you said, I'm innovative. I'm ready to push the envelope. I'm not going to take no for an answer. All of those things has nothing to do with being an alumni because I know there's plenty of people qualified for this position that have been to FAMU and they're going to do it, right? Okay, cool. Your point is made by Courtney being an outside source. No, he didn't attend FAMU, but I still think he had to understand and study FAMU just as if he went to it, because you still have to be abreast of what you are leading. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like that's why we had so many issues with previous, people that are taking over or that's going to be our leaders and our guiders, not because they didn't, push the envelope. They didn't know us and they didn't know how to move the envelope without even knowing what's in the damn envelope. Like,
mm,
are you supposed to know? Like, how are you supposed to know what tools to use to move the envelope? You don't have no idea what's in it.
Mm.
gotta
You
open
may
it
not
first.
have a goddamn wheelbarrow and you trying to push it with a goddamn pencil. Like, oh, let's see what we can move. No. So I think and you make a very good point, Ron. Don't think that I'm trying to like negate that. I'm just saying
Mm-hmm.
the part of this discussion and why it's important is because I feel like people do have great ideas. I just think they're looking at it from the wrong lens. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
your point is still valid. We don't need anybody that's in there that's going to be sitting on their ass, twiddling their thumbs, like, oh, what's next? Like, baby, you supposed to make that decision, not us.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
We can
Yeah.
only help you, but we're helping you help us. If that's the case, we
Exactly.
can just help ourselves if you're not going to help.
Right.
But I think it goes deeper than just someone that's not being alum. Because
Right.
I honestly would want somebody who do know about fam. You know from whence we've come from. You know how hard it was to get money that went into the multipurpose student center or the goddamn student union or the library.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I do want somebody that understands that, just not in a sense that they think that's okay. Like, that's
Yeah.
all, or that's all we're worth, or that's enough for us. No, we
I
can
just
we can get a little bit more.
I think when you use that, you kind of generalizing everybody. Just saying family alum. That's like, oh, like
Yeah,
I'm a young alum. I'm an older alum, and I still want to do better for FAMU. I
right.
think it's
Even the
more
older
so it
ones got
just
some good ideas. They just not
yeah.
heard.
I think it's
Right.
some people, man, that's at alums that could do better for FAMU than what we experienced in the past. But I think it's just more so of, like you said, pushing the envelope and making those changes that need to be changed, instead
Mm,
of just kind of sitting back in your hands and like not really pushing it with the everybody else that's in the crowd. Because a lot of people, like, when I know when Courtney was trying to make decisions, he was getting a lot of pushback. So
hmm
if we get somebody that's not scared to push back and stand on their ground and stand on their 2 feet, I think that'll be good.
Y'all remember that statement? I bring it up all the time, but when the whole Jersey situation was going down and people were asking, because prime time got the last names of all his athletes on, like, on the jerseys and stuff, and that was like a big deal because HBC was into that, whatever.
Yeah.
And so when the question was posed to Courtney, you know, now let's think about this. He's not an alum, right? I don't know where that man went. Y'all want to know where he went to school?
I
I
think
want
he
to say it
went to
was like
like.
Miami.
Nah, he worked in Miami. I think he went to
He
school like
worked in
in
Miami.
Middle Tennessee or something like that. Or
See, there we go.
something. Yeah.
Not
Middle
here nor there.
Tennessee.
It wasn't the Rattlers, right? This man said, as a reasoning why FAMU's not going to spend the money to put into the last names, he was like, "That's not FAMU tradition." I'm sorry, sir. How you know about FAMU tradition? You didn't even go here.
Mm.
Like, and that's an example of a person that whatever research he did it. Because you're not going to just confidently say that without having some type of information. And maybe he bold, maybe he was bluffing. You know what I'm saying? He just good at poker. I don't know. But at the end of the day, he still paid tribute to
History.
FAMU's way. Right.
Right.
That's FAMU's way. FAMU's way is not to put them names on their jerseys because we all one team. It shouldn't matter who's who. That was his
I,
whole point.
I don't want my name on my jersey. If
But that's what I'm
that's
saying.
just me. That's just me though. I ain't even gonna start.
So
That's just me.
and it's like, yeah. he did a lot, but that's an example of something that I'm just like, hey, wait,
Mm-hmm.
that's something you should be innovative on, sir. Like, get
Yeah.
these young men their money. You put them on posters and stuff, got their name
Mm-hmm.
at the bottom, you know. Uh,
But yeah,
yeah,
that's our little soap opera for I guess today, as far as FAMU and what they got going on. We just want somebody good in that seat, man. We just want somebody good, fresh with
yeah.
ideas, and continue on this FAMU
The
legacy,
young
man.
black and rattlers.
Yeah, that. Ooh,
That's
market that young black and rat.
young
Ooh, I
black
like
and
that.
rattlers.
I
Young black
like that.
rattler.
Love that. Listen. All right, guys. Some fantastic news happened for our HBCU football players. Um, Real round of applause. Can we get a round of applause? Little
Oh yeah, I got
clapping you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Round of applause for them
Our
boys.
HBCU players, yeah, it's so nice to see. Like I pulled up the Instagram you were talking about, Ron, and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
scrolling through all the flyers and the posts that they have for all the schools and the young men that either have been drafted, have been invited to mini camp, from Alcorn State all the way to North Carolina A&T to North Carolina Central, Southern. That's just to name a few of the young men that are, fulfilling their dreams, going to the pros and everything. But specifically wanted to start off with a couple of names that are, you know, it, they actually have the opportunity to say that they've been drafted, which is huge for HBCU athletics, right? Or HBCU football. First of those names is Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State. He has been
Mm-hmm.
drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
We got Jacoby Durant from South Carolina State, was drafted to the Los Angeles Rams, the Super Bowl champ.
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles Rams, such a great time, y'all. It's James Houston the fourth from Jackson State. He has been drafted to the Detroit Lions. And then we got Jatire Carter, who was, or he's from Southern University, and he was drafted to the Chicago Bears. An honorable mention as well. I want to give my man his flowers as well. But Marquis Bell, we've been talking about
No,
him a
that
lot.
boy.
Yeah, we I still want to give him his flowers. He wasn't drafted like the other players I just mentioned, but still, at the end of the day, he got a free agent, undrafted free agent signature with the Dallas Cowboys, so a contract with them. I just want to kind of highlight that even though we knew this man's capable and we know this man's capabilities, the story isn't over yet, for him or any of the other players. CJ Holmes from Jackson State, he got an invitation to the Saints. We got North
Uh,
Carolina A&T, Ron Hunt. Relax. Ron Hunt, he's headed to the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
From North Carolina A&T, Alabama A&M, Akil Glass, he got an invitation to the Bucks, the Tampa Bay
Yup.
Buccaneers rookie mini
I'm,
camp.
I'm,
So
I'm gonna be at that mini camp.
yeah, yeah. So it's
right, Ron.
like I love that these athletes are doing great. And I just wanted to kind of definitely give Marquise personally his flowers on still, the story isn't over. Handle Cowboys. They need you. They need
Hey,
you,
Mm-hmm.
you
speaking
know?
speaking of flowers, I want to give my flowers to Joshua Flowers.
Oh,
Uh, Winston-Salem State alumni. You
yes.
know,
Mm-hmm.
the great Winston-Salem State illustrious, where I went to get my undergrad degree. He is a defensive back, Winston-Salem State. He is going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He signed today. That just came in.
Jacksonville.
So not only him, another shout out to Josh Williams, root to the Q Dogs. He was the first one drafted, and that's crazy to me to be in Division
Yeah.
Two and being the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
one drafted from an HBCU. That just shows the amount of talent that he has. I think last show we were talking, I kind of spoke on his talents briefly about him being drafted, but he has similar frame to the guy that was the first corner off the board, Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner, I believe, is 6'3", and he is 6'3", 6'3" and a half, 197 playing
Sauce.
corner,
Mm.
running a 4.5, 4.4. So he's a tall, lanky guy, but also has speed too. Everything you want to look for in a corner.
Mm-hmm. So, But shout outs to the people that got drafted, especially Durant and Williams. You know, they're going to championship teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you even I could say at Kill Glass, when you go to like championship teams, you already had a veteran leadership there. You already have like people there and established and already set up. So like once you get in, all you just have to do is follow suit. You don't have to just go hard every day at practice and follow what Tom Brady doing for a kill. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
if you Durant, man, all you just gotta do is look at that boy Ramsey. You
Yeah.
just mimic him what he does. Like you just like you already got championship people on your team, and that's so
Right.
amazing. You know, coming from HBCU, you got people that won the Super Bowl, people that's winning MVPs, and like all you can do is like, oh, I watch you growing up. I want to admire your game. You know, what can you tell me? Blah blah blah. You know, to get to where you at now. So that's to me that's amazing, and like any little kid will want to play with Tom Brady. Like he's the oldest person in the NFL right now still playing, outlasted a whole bunch of quarterbacks that was before him and after him. So
Mhm.
that's to me that's amazing. Definitely want to give a shout out to Savion Williams. Wish he would have got drafted, but sometimes the luck of the draw ain't that good. He went to the Jets. So those are my two people I was really looking at, Williams and Akil, because it took him like 2 days to get an offer from the Bucks. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he's with a champ. I'm just glad he's with a good pedigree team that Tom Brady really can teach him, the ins and outs
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Ron. A statement that I like to live by is if you hang out with six millionaires, you'll be the seventh one. And
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
this kind of goes with, Akil Glass, goes with Joshua Williams, it goes with the Kobe Durant. If you're already on that championship team and that mentality, you're going to hang out with guys that are making plays, doing great for their team. So when you do that, you'll be the next guy up, signing that new contract for 4 more years in the NFL.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think you hit a really good point when you're saying like they can mimic those star athletes, the athlete that's been in the game for years and years and years, know how to, maneuver, to adapt, to compete, all of those different things, because it's again, you can be drafted and still not make it onto the field. Let's just be honest here. Like, granted, is your chances, at a more advantage by being drafted? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
we know that. That's reality. We get it. But at the same time, the game of football never changes. You know what I'm saying? It may intensifies, right? Or you may have, some different plays you ain't never did before. But the game of it itself, you just got to stay hungry for it. And so, there's plenty of different stories of these young men out there that have only have received invitations, right? And now they're on championship winning teams and a part of
Right.
the experience, not because they was hanging on the bench and they just got a jersey and now they're getting paid for their services of being cheerleaders.
Mm-hmm.
No, they actually was able to participate and help the team. So I think if anything, all of these athletes, right? Um, they just got to keep that in mind, you know. A couple of them, I will say, a couple of these teams, I feel like are definitely going to get a little bit more exposure now. We see like the Alcorn States, Alabama
Mm-hmm.
A&M, like that's what we've been wanting for so long. It's like
Yeah.
we knew we was probably going to see the Jackson States. We probably knew we was going to see the FAMs, right? But South Carolina State was in there. Norfolk is in there, right? ASU is in there. PV is in
Mm-hmm.
there. Like now it's like, okay, we're continue putting our names out there and our schools on the map for more exposure. And then, next year, now that these teams are getting, the rapport and the relationships started with these athletes at these schools, maybe they'll be like, okay, I got to come back. Now I want to go to, PV's pro day. Now I want to, and that's like, of course, in a perfect world, we would want them to do it, but it's still a step forward for them, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to all those HBCU athletes
And one
in
more
the
thing I wanted
league.
to add, just for all the HBCU players that went undrafted, it was a stat I looked up. It's more people in the Hall of Fame that are undrafted than first round draft picks. So don't feel
Ooh,
down on yourself. Don't feel like, man, I'm barely making the cut. this is your opportunity to shine. So go out there and make the best of it.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, and don't fumble the bag. I know y'all see them dollar signs. Do not
Oh,
fumble
don't
the
fumble the bag.
bag. Make sure you listen to your mama and your daddy. You know, put the first five, 6, 7, 8, 10, thousand in the safe. Lose the
Hmm.
combination.
Yeah.
Put
Hmm.
half of that in the bank. Then
They need
okay,
to.
use the
I
other
wish
half
they
to spend.
had, like, do they have, and now y'all were collegiate athletes, do they have, like, for those who are kind of seeking to go professionally, have like a support on campus to talk about financials and stuff? Like, is that even a thing?
In college, no.
Yeah, like, if
Nah.
okay, Jerry, like, if wanted to go into the league, like, y'all, like, see, that's what we need, damn it.
In college, you don't, but in the NFL, they have financial people to help you out.
But the
But
thing, the
see, but
Jerry,
my
but the
thing
thing
is, I
about
want to have that before I get there.
But the thing about
I want
that
to
is,
have it. I want
Jerry,
to have it.
it's like a one and done class from what I heard from a lot of people. Like they'll tell you,
Mm,
okay, this and that, but after that, you on your own, and you can have your
see,
financial
mm,
advisor. But at the end of the day, you need to know what your financial advisor is doing because he may be taking something, he may be not doing your taxes right. So like, I feel like you need to just keep it within your family because you're. I mean, 9 times out of 10, your family supposed to tell you what's right. I said 9 times out of 10, not nine
Wait a
times out
minute.
of 10.
I'm
Get
I
to
shaking.
know
it.
Listen, I'm
I
shaking my
know
head because I
it's
know
not
what you're trying to say.
9 times out of 10. Your family supposed to be for you. I understand that 1%. Sometimes you have that 1% that ain't for you, but 9 times out of 10, your family supposed to be for you. Your family supposed to help you. Your family. You, to me,
I get
this
what you. I know
just
what you're
me.
saying,
Yeah, this just
I
me.
but
This
see.
just me.
but
I
let's.
But
I
at the
love
but at
I
the
love
but at
the
the
way
end of
that
the
you're thinking about it.
but at the end of the day, you got to be like Marshawn, but know what your chicken look like, because if you don't know what your money looking like, it's gonna be funny, and your ass
I'm
gonna
Listen,
gonna tell
be
you.
I totally get it because, like you said, Ron, our family is supposed to lead us in the right direction. They are
oh yeah,
supposed.
supposed to.
But I'm not gonna lie. That goes back to my statement. You don't want to let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, and I mean that in all facets of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Family, friends, co-workers, your
Yeah.
teammates, your pastor's wife, the
Mm-hmm.
neighbor down the street that you really only
Mm-hmm.
see on Tuesdays. You know what I'm saying? That's all of that because here's my thing. And it's really sad, but the world that we live in today, everybody knows everything. Everything
Mm-hmm.
that they're not supposed to know. And they're gonna have an opinion about it. I'm not saying that you got family members that's gonna be thieves and gonna try to take your money. No, I'm gonna be like, girl, Ryan just got this new car down the street, girl. Like he got his mama this new house down the way, girl. He got a house in Florida, Georgia, now South Carolina, North Carolina,
Man,
Texas.
I ain't got time for that.
Now, little cousin Ray Ray down the street. Hey man, Ron, man, listen, my titty said that you have a house and that I'm trying.
No.
Do you have an extra?
No,
Like it's
like
like okay,
the dude on Friday when he saw Debo knock him out. No, I'm
no,
good.
I'm good. So it's like, granted, now that is a stereotypical black turning events, black family turning events. There's nothing
It
wrong
is.
with that. If that's your family, that's your family. You already know. You can't complain about the shit you already know. So don't sit
Mm-hmm.
up here and be like, oh damn, because of Ray Ray bag, I should have known. Like, no, yes, you should have known. You should have known because you know your family. Not everybody's family like that. But what I'm saying is there is an element of, okay, I don't need all my family to know this. I don't want all my friends to know this. I don't want this. I want to know the things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my point is coming into. Everybody can help out, and they're supposed to. Your family's supposed to be there for you, especially your blood. Your friends supposed to be there for you. They're supposed to really be your friends, right? So on and so forth. Your mentors, everybody. I think that what I'm saying is it should start earlier before you even get in that environment where you are going to have a lot of people in your head, where you are going to have all of these different perspectives and opinions and things that gets overwhelming, right? So if they were to be introduced to those concepts, you know, in their college career, when they're preparing to go, like, okay, just like how you physically train your body while you're in college to go
Mm-hmm.
to a combine or be prepared for pro day or so on and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
that is how you should be training your financial situation, because you know what are you about to do. Just like how you about to get a contract to sign for a team, you about to get some money in your account. So if you're preparing yourself for that environment, why are you not preparing yourself for this next entity that can actually probably sometimes outweigh your experience playing physically? Because let your ass run out of money, or let your ass
Mm-hmm.
get sued, right? All this having to do with money. It ain't got to do with the fact that you ran 200 yards, in 10 seconds. No, nobody gives a crap about that when it comes to legalities or money and stuff like that, and things that have to do with your life. So I'm
Ask Deshaun
saying,
Watson.
mm-mm. So I'm like, cool. It takes a village, but you have to have an element of understanding what exactly is going on, and you're in college. You should have the perceptions of the mindset to handle all of that. If you're going into the league, you're gonna let some 200-pound man bulldoze you, but you don't want to learn how to open a savings account.
Mm,
You don't want to learn how to invest that money to help it make you money while you don't
mm,
even have to do anything but to just check it periodically.
mm. Preach,
Right.
That's
preacher.
the kind of stuff I
Yeah,
want to know. And we can't blame the athletes for not knowing that because they weren't exposed to it. Because everybody
exactly.
was so focused on them getting into the league,
Mm-hmm.
having the right 40, having the right vertical, having the right
Mm-hmm.
broad jump, all this other stuff. But they didn't prepare them financially. So they want to get mad when they sprint frivolously. No, that's not that young man's fault. It's not. It's not
It's
his
not.
family's fault either.
Yeah.
It's y'all that's paying him. It's y'all. It's y'all.
Rob,
Stop
Rob,
it.
Rob, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
Shit.
Yeah,
Talk to me.
I'm talking about the family part because I'm talking about just mom, dad. I'm
No,
talking
no,
about
no. I get that aspect. When I say it's not their fault, I'm saying I'm not putting the full blame on them. They have an
okay,
impact.
got you,
Don't get me
got you,
wrong. Don't
got
get
you,
me
got you,
wrong.
got you,
But
got you,
I'm
got
saying,
you.
like, if we're talking about foundational, it is not foundational their problem because they're not giving them amount of money because maybe they haven't even been experienced with that type of money. Have your
Mm.
mama ever seen $2.5 million
Oh no,
at once?
no, not one,
So she
Now
ain't gonna
you
do
no,
it
you
either.
consider well, but wait, but
not
wait, let's talk
once.
about it. Because you consider your mother to be bright and experienced and to have, a resourceful life, right? Without
Mm-hmm.
having to see $2.5 million. But
Mm-hmm.
can you honestly say that because your mom has not been experienced with that, will she know the exact right thing to say as far as that amount of money?
No.
And
It,
that's not your mom's problem. It's not. She's going to give you what she can give you based off of the tools that was fed to her. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? That's how education works, right? We just kind of keep regurgitating different shit that was taught to us.
Mm-hmm.
But when you've never been exposed to, that's where we get into science. Oh, now we got to experiment. How the hell? Like calculate these. I ain't never
Well,
seen that
they,
equation before.
they better ask Elon Musk. Shoot,
You know what I'm
hey,
saying?
bro,
Like,
hey, Elon, what the hell you doing? Hey, come here,
yo.
come here. I'm
What
trying
our
to turn this
parents is
2 million
going
into
to
eight
do for
million.
us,
Right.
man, listen, what our parents is going to do for us is, Ron, don't be stupid with all that damn money. You better hide that money, Ron. You
Save it.
better invest in that money. But that's so broad of an answer because we're like,
It
well, how are we
is.
going to invest it? You going to put it in the couch? Put it
Shit,
in the
we
mattress?
Right.
There's so many entities that we don't know of because of our experiences. And that's what I'm saying, that those folks who giving that money out, I know they know. I know they know. Because you know who
They
they
know.
are? They
They the
white
white.
old men.
They the white man. You know, like the honorable Malcolm X said. You know, don't. Nah, I don't want to say that because I ain't want.
I want
I
you to
don't,
say
I
it
don't
now.
want to get
I
cooked
want you
on
to say
YouTube.
it.
I want you. I'm hard ears.
Don't trust Mr. Bojangles because Mr. Bojangles gonna take a recipe and use it to sell for everybody. You know
Okay.
that's the honorable Malcolm X said. You don't trust Bojangles. That was your
Okay
recipe at
now.
first. And you just let him have the recipe. Now he making millions off of you.
All they do
So
is steal and re-implement it for themselves.
exactly.
That's
So
what I'm
Mhm.
saying.
you know.
But to piggyback off what Robin's saying, I agree with that. I think colleges should, especially not even for just for athletes, for everybody. Everybody should take a course on financial planning,
Financial literacy.
investments, yeah,
Yes.
financial literacy. It's very important, not only for them, but everybody needs to know that.
Yeah,
So that should be a class that's implemented at every university.
sure. I
Second thing,
know.
go ahead, Ron.
Go ahead. Oh, just quick note. I know Florida just passed a law that you have to take a class in high school, financial literacy class. You have to take that class to graduate high school. So that's in
Okay.
Florida. They just implemented that. I think they need to do it like statewide though. Go ahead, Jerry.
I know we implemented that class at high schools in North Carolina. I don't know if they're making it required though, but they are teaching that course.
Mm-hmm.
But the second thing, uh, going back to letting your family do it, one lesson I learned in business, man, I learned the hard way. Do not mix family with business. That's business 101. Think about that, because when it comes to just having your own business, you're gonna have people that know you, like that's your family. They gonna come in late. They're gonna be like, man, my fault, cuz I had to go talk to my mama, man. Your auntie would hold me up at the house. So when you know that person personally, you're gonna give them a little bit more slack than somebody that's off the street. Like, nah, bro, you come to my job, like, nah, you gotta hold on now. You late. What's going on?
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna try to take advantage of you. Now, from the aspect of an athlete, we've seen plenty of athletes that let their family manage their money, and 3-4 years down the road they're bankrupt. For
Mm-hmm.
example, you got Trent Williams. He was trying to take care of his family with this, and this. He's lending out money here, lending out money here, with no money here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So for me, I don't really entrust that theory of letting family, take care of my money, because it's always gonna be a family member. Hey man, little Ray, man, he got COVID, man. You think you can take care of the bills for me, dog? Like everybody gonna be hitting you up, especially I know right now, all them boys that got drafted is somebody hitting them up right now, and they ain't got paid yet.
Ain't.
they ain't even show up on the first week to get paid,
Mm-hmm.
because all that NFL money is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
You have to work for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I
that
think even I'm gonna even build up my uh we talked a little bit about the negative kind of connotations about it, but like even some positivity. I know like my mom and dad are very heavily invested in like, a wealthy lifestyle. Not saying we're a wealthy family, but like wealth is a mindset. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, in that respect, I got people that's gonna do right by me, right? I have cousins that's gonna do right by me. I have uncles, aunties. I also want to know for myself to make sure the people I'm getting my money from actually giving me what I'm worth.
mm,
Because I'm not gonna lay my life on the line or break
mhm,
my back just for
mhm,
you to shortchange me because you didn't like my behavior that day.
Hmm.
That's another thing.
mhm,
That's another aspect of financial literacy and understanding is if you're calculating, your hours, which is different for football, because I do know it has to do a little bit with performance. That's your job. You have a
yeah,
performative job, right? I totally
mhm,
understand that part, but I'm also trying to get my point that it goes beyond just your set numbers that you will receive in a game. Like, what does it look like off season? What does it look like if I did some type of endorsement, right? How much money do I include in that, and when is that going to be touched? Is my team going to get a portion of that, or is that going directly to me because I wore my jersey that day? Like, those are questions that you need to understand that has some validity to some type of literacy, right? So it's like, I at least want to be introduced to that if I was an athlete or a football player or even NBA, whatever professional, realm, I would want to know at least, okay, these are some things I'm going to be looking to. These are some things that's going to come my way. I'm not going to understand it all because a lot of times you really not going to understand it until you're in it. But I'm like, at least, okay, I'm like, okay, I've been made abreast of that. Now, if I don't read the information, that's on me. I can't be mad at them, especially
mhm,
if they provided the resources. But I think there's an element of there is not transparency as it should be in that realm. I think they're letting them know what they need to know, what they think they need to know. But like the fine print stuff, mm, yeah, that's what these athletes, especially coming from HBCUs, coming from an environment that is not as resourceful as
mhm.
the other players coming from teams, read the fine print. get you some help, get you a village, get you a family member, a friend, a mentor, somebody down the way that you met just recently, whoever, to help you and process that and not just be like, oh, I'm about to spend a bag just because I got it. No, sir.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know a couple guys that I played ball with that's in the NFL. Well, not in the NFL anymore, but they were in the NFL. And some of the tips they kind of like just gave me were, first off was the family situation. The second thing is don't try to hang with the big time ballers. So, for example, Josh
Mm,
Williams got drafted by the Chiefs. He's not making the same money as Patrick Mahomes. So they go into the club,
mhm.
Patrick Mahomes throwing, $100,000 at the strip club, just for example. Josh Williams, he can't do that.
And
You
you
know,
know what's crazy, Jerry? Not even to cut you off, but real quick. Patrick Holmes probably is still investing him money in ways that he has probably a lot more money somewhere stashed up, somewhere that he don't even probably touch or look at. And
Mm-hmm.
still is just out here like living his life accordingly and making money on the side. So that's another thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
exactly. But my point is, you're trying to live the lifestyle like you're the number one guy, when in all actuality,
Hmm.
you're not the number one guy making number one money. So you can't treat yourself the same way.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's
Definitely.
true.
So, man, just keep up with yourself. Don't keep up with the Joneses. That's number one thing
Boom.
about. Hey, sure.
Right. Yeah.
Next topic.
So next on the list, guys, Isaiah Land, FAMU athlete, football player. He's a football player, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isaiah Land is in the
Mm-hmm.
transfer portal. Now, you guys kind of know a little bit more about his accolades and how big of an issue this could possibly be. I have my opinions on it, but y'all can go ahead and start off with, why is this kind of a significant move for Isaiah Land, being from FAM, to enter into the transfer portal?
You got it, Ron.
Okay. Well, when I saw this, I thought of a magnitude of things because it happened Sunday. Like literally, it happened on Sunday. I think Sunday was the last day for the transfer portal to
Hmm.
be open. So that was number one. Then seeing the draft and watching the draft all the way to literally, I watched This is the first time in a long
Me
time
too.
I watched every single round just to see
Mm-hmm.
where these boys was going to go because it was crazy. I was like, bro, I watched every single. I haven't did that since I was a little kid. So
Mm-hmm.
literally watching every single round and seeing Bell not getting picked up, it opened my eyes, and I know it opened Isaiah Land eyes. So just those two things happening. Then another thing as far as the influx of talent that Willie is getting, like he's getting them boys in there, and I'm pretty I like to at the end of the day, I feel like Land shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm intimidated by this talent, but at the end of the day, for me, he didn't show up at the most how can I say, the most important game of the season in the playoffs. He did not show up that game. Zero, like his name did not get called. So going about with those things, and just why did he go in the transfer portal? Is it because of schooling? Is it because of grades? Is it because of football? Is it because of the NFL draft? And you are an FCS award, a defense award winner. Like, you won the award. You like any defensive player wants to win that Buckets Award for
Hmm.
the most talented defensive player of the year. So you won that award at FAM, and you see your counterpart not get drafted. I think that kind of scared them, or kind of like, I don't know if FAMU is the best way to go to get me where I need to go. In a way, at the end of the day, if that's his decision, I just feel like, okay, cool. If you feel like this is not the way for you and your family and your decision and your education, cool, you can do that. But if it's a whole nother motive behind, as far as like, oh, you got an influx of talent coming in, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff, and I don't think I'll get drafted because I'm at FAMU. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that definitely need to go out the window. But I mean, for what Coach Willie's saying, he like I think he's probably gonna hold the scholarship that he has for him, and he's gonna wait until see what he can do. But if Isaiah leaves, he most likely probably gonna go to Georgia because that is his home state. But Jerry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I agree on certain points you said. I don't think it's really the competition because all of these guys are athletes. You said he had a great year last year. I know he's not thinking, oh, they're going to out recruit me. I know, especially me. I wasn't the top guy making all the plays, but I started for 3 years, and they tried to out recruit me my last year in college. But for me, it's always as being an athlete, you're a competitor. You're not going to just
Yeah,
run away from competition. You be like, I don't care who they bring. They can bring in, they can bring in uh anybody from the
Debo.
Dallas Cowboys. I'll beat him out too. I mean, that's how I view things as an athlete, and I think that's how a lot of guys view it. So I think it's more so of with the timing of the transfer portal submission. It relates directly to that draft. I think when he saw, Bell didn't get drafted, and that was the top guy, at FAMU, getting all the praise. Like, dang, if he didn't get drafted, I don't think I can get drafted from this university. So he's taking the things like you got another guy, Brian Cook, a safety from Cincinnati. He played at Howard a couple years back, and now he transferred to Cincinnati and got drafted second round of the draft. So you got, small little stats like that that's throwing in there that's kind of like going through his mind. So he's thinking I probably can go to Georgia, get some burn at Georgia and get drafted higher than when I'm going to get drafted at FAMU. And that's not entirely true because if I'm not mistaken, Darius Leonard got drafted second round as well from South Carolina State, and he may have been higher than Brian Cook. So it doesn't matter where you play; it really matters who you are and what you do. It's really who's inside the jersey, not what's on outside the jersey. That's what I think. And personally, but I do want to say Deion, from what he said about it, I don't think it's that. I think if the guy wants to leave, hey man, you don't want to be here, go ahead. You should go ahead and go. I'm not gonna hold you here. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. That's how I
I
think about
think before we jump into Deion Sanders' statement, I want to kind of tie back into what you guys both have kind of said. Is this being directly connected to the draft and Marquise, might being drafted, so on and so forth. I think I'm more so looking at it because I'm not really familiar with this athlete, so I can't really speak on statistics. But I'm just thinking in my head, okay, timing. He had just announced in January that he was returning for his final season of eligibility. He said that in January. That's when the season is over. He's already competed through his football season.
Yep.
They did what they did and had a very successful season at that. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
it was a rumor going. My bad, Robin. It was a rumor
No,
going
that.
around. That's why you said that. It was a rumor going around that he was going to get into the transfer portal, but he literally made a statement on his Instagram saying, "No, I'm not. I'm gonna stay here." But go ahead, Robin.
Right. So it's like, but even tying into the rumors, right? Is the statement just so that people can calm down, or was he really like, no, I'm straight, like you're not the family? We don't know. We don't know. All speculation. So then we go through, Keith being in the limelight, uh, all signs leading to him being drafted, right? And you know, Isaiah right there, like, all right, that's my dog, yeah, whoa, whoa, woo, woo. Then he doesn't get drafted. Now I'm like, oh shit. You know
All
what
of
I'm
us is like
saying?
that.
And the draft is so close to the transfer portal about to being closed because it was closed on Sunday. Draft was just last weekend. So this is leading into what in the hell do I do now? Now, I'm not saying that my opinion is that's the fact. Like, okay, because Marquise didn't get drafted, Isaiah feels like he doesn't have a chance. Because that's not the reality, guys. Like, he's still got an invitation. We just talked about how even though you weren't drafted, you still have the opportunity to compete at the next level. Cool. He got an invitation to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, unless he's just so heart and strung out about being drafted, then yes, I can understand why he would want to be in the transfer portal, especially if the person that we all thought was going to do it didn't. Right. So, okay. But now I'm like, Texas had released a statement. Longhorns. What is that? University of Texas at Austin.
Mm-hmm.
All there is talking about is how he's in this transfer portal, right? Given the statistics, this is on. the Texas Longhorns community of Burnt Orange Nation. This is where I'm reading this from right now. This was just submitted on May 1st. It's May 3rd. So not even 2 days ago, right? Why are y'all talking about this boy? What y'all want? Because you ain't got, he have no connection as far as, I don't know if he has family in Texas, right? But this man was born in Buffalo, went to school in Georgia, right? Went to FAM. Texas is not even close to, I'm not, we love FAMU, but let's reality. Not even in the close same ballpark as FAMU. What y'all got going on? So now I'm like, what does Texas have that FAMU doesn't have immediately on hand in their pockets? So I'm like, did it have to do with money? I don't know. Because I'm like, the timing of this is so coincidental. He had a phenomenal year with FAM. Isaiah did amazing, right? What? The defensive player of the year, is that what he got? Right, in 2021. So clearly he showed up and showed out. And you show up and show out in an environment where you want to show up and show out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
exactly.
Was FAM a gateway? And now he's actually where he would want to be more so with this transfer, and now Texas talking about him. I think it I feel like my whole point is I don't think it's just about the draft. I want to say it has something more to do with this. Now, again, I don't know if Texas is the only school talking about it, or is it like, but this is like directly from Texas. I think that's why I'm like kind of bringing in the significance of it. It's not just like on HBCU Nation or ESPN or some public entity. This is Texas Longhorns SB Nation. Y'all been talking to him, blah blah blah. So I don't know. It's interesting. Apparently he is, on a high demand for the FBS level. Awesome. Kudos to him. Great. We all know that's a huge achievement to go from HBCU to that realm. But I don't know.
But
normally you see the opposite. Normally you see FBS to FCS. You know what I'm saying?
But this
I
is
don't
my
know. And I
thing
don't know too much about it.
I know for Jerry, like, to be a defensive lineman, like, Land looks like he's literally like slim and muscular.
He's categorized
He's slim
as
and cut.
Undersized playing. That's literally what the article says. 6'4", 215. Land is undersized for playing a 4-3 defensive role.
Exactly. So if he go to the SEC, which all athletes want to go to the SEC and try to play D-line, that is not happening.
And he was already injured. He missed spring practice because of his hip injury. He came off a red shirt because he's a red-shirted junior. Now, I don't know if that had anything to do with his injury, but I do believe it did. Now, granted, they're saying that, based off of this article, that his injury, may or may not even be a concern. But I'm also like,
it can be it can be a concern because this would really mad, like, knock on wood. But like, let's say he go to Texas or Georgia, and he's getting you gonna get the dog snot pushed out of you when you playing D line, and you seeing a 300-pound man muscling you, and you only weighing 218, and you slim like that. You really supposed to be playing safety and that nickel position.
But let's also highlight that he's a very explosive player. Now
he is.
Now, again, I don't know too much about the young man. I only spent like 5 minutes looking at some highlights, and the man is quick, which is going to be huge for larger players because the bigger you are, the harder you fall. So I'm like, he may have an opportunity. Clearly, they see something in him. You know what I'm saying? They know how big he is. They know how he played. That's what they're looking at. Coaches look at film. So this ain't a surprise to them. I'm just like, transfer. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a need for you. When I see an FBS transferring, an HBCU or just FCS athlete, you know what I'm saying? Or a smaller statute athlete. I'm like, are you desperate, or is this like bigger than what we really realize? Because let's be honest, like he can go anywhere with his just his statistics off of fam. If he's
Mm-hmm.
getting, the Longhorns looking at him, you know what I'm saying, and actually posting it, their interactions or their lack thereof potential in what they see in him, like clearly there's something there. And it's more than draft, more than his physical, appearance ability. It's like I don't know. They
Yeah.
see something. So I'm like, is it necessarily a bad move? I don't know. Like, okay, as a Rattler fan, like, yeah, stay with us. We have faith in us. But I'm also like, hey, that could be kind of dope for him,
Yeah.
But it's all speculation because all of this, nothing's been guaranteed. He hasn't signed anything, or I don't even know if the man made it, through the whole process yet. So he may be doing this with every school just to see who we can get. Because let's be, transparent here. He can get out of the transfer portal if he chooses to, and then once
Yeah.
he's out, FAMU has the right to grab him back. So maybe this is all tactics.
Yeah.
Couldn't be
I
that far.
think I think he might just be testing the water out, just see what he can get and see if he actually
Yeah.
wants to make that move. Like because I think he was thinking about transferring the whole time, but didn't really commit to the idea. So he just had to put it out there, like, hey, I'm gonna throw my bait in the water, not knowing if I really want to fish. I may want to stay inside, but I might fish if I catch something good. But
Right.
I'm not gonna downplay his athleticism, his abilities, because evidently from what he's doing, he is an athlete. And I'm pretty sure he could play on that next level at bigger schools, SEC. He might even be good enough to be starting and go to the NFL from that. But
Yeah.
I do think he will be pushed back to a different position. 6'4", 215. I'm assuming he plays probably defensive end.
Yeah.
So he probably
Yes.
might get put back to like outside linebacker or edge rusher. But it may be a good move for him. I think if he does want to leave, hey, more power to you. Good luck to you, young brother. Because I mean, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it at these big schools. So we'll see though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is my thing, Jerry. So like I know you watched the playoff game that everybody saw that, yeah, Coach Willie dropped the ball on that one. But looking at Land and looking at Savion was back there every single time.
Yeah,
He had no problem getting back there, sacking the quarterback, disrupting the quarterback every single time. When Savion was back there, Land was having problems.
well,
He could,
maybe it might have been for the simple fact that he was defensive player of the year. So now he's getting more attention, or he's getting all these stats throughout the whole year. People like, hey, this dude right here on film, you need to double team him. Y'all need to be on him. So it might have been simple as that. That's what might would have freed up Savion in the middle. You get what I'm saying?
I
It might
get
have
you
been
what
something
you're saying.
like that. I can't even say like that he ain't good because he ain't do good that game. So
Nah, he like first team All American, first team SWAC, first team MEAC, first team HBCU, first team anything you could think of for FCS. He there. But my thing is this: in those trenches, are you willing to put your body on the line, physically knowing, like me? It's like this, Jared. Will I put my body on the line to go against you? No, I'm not, because I ain't. Either I gotta learn some stuff, or B, I need to do a new position. It's
right.
like
But see,
this.
that's the beauty of him being where he is, because it's like, granted, logically, yeah, that may not be the best decision, but I'm also like, let's wait this out. Only he can make it. Only he can make that decision, because
Mm-hmm.
you know what you're getting into. And just like how they're researching him, he's researching them. He's
Yeah.
saying, who's gonna be my teammates, because that's who I'm gonna have to play against first. That's who I have to go
Mm-hmm.
against first, my own goddamn teammates. And if I can't make it through my teammates, what the hell I look like going against an opponent? I ain't gonna make it. I'm like, okay, if he knows all of that, what's to say that he's preparing himself for exactly that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's really hard to put in perspective something that has really, like, they have to look at it from all different sides to make a quality decision. And I feel like that's what, if he's gonna do what he's doing, And like I said, it may not just be Texas. It may be something else. It may be UT.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Content to him. Georgia may be content. UF may be content. You don't know. I'm just like, if you got yourself into that, you must have an idea of what you about to do or what's going to be expected of you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, like you said, Ron is very valid. You know, you gonna be going up to some big men's. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they recruit. So
That's why I
I don't
say
know.
I don't think he's running from competition, because if not, I feel like he's almost getting into more competition. Coming to a new place, learning a new
Yeah.
defense. You know, new guys coming in, they aren't respected for four. Matter of fact, the fourth reason. So it's like if he's doing that, he's getting himself in a deeper hole than what he's already in.
Yeah,
And going back to what you said, Robin, about them being the only school, I ain't never seen one raindrop fall out the sky. It always come multiple at a time. So if one school come,
that's
another
such a good
school,
analogy. Good for you.
Jared,
but
that's the most
Because you're gonna be
that's the
thinking,
most
I
that's the
said
most countryest thing I'd have heard
that he said I ain't never
today.
seen one
Boy,
raindrop come out the sky.
hey
You
man,
know, as I think about it, I ain't
if
never seen that one rain.
boy.
they come at a time now, when one comes, the next follow. The next
Shoot.
one coming, dog.
Oh boy,
Wow.
boy,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love, boy. That's why I love country people because they always gotta say it, boy. Boy,
Wait.
my bones getting stiff. That means it's about to rain.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. The
Right.
knees getting
yeah.
cold.
I feel my bones getting stiff. My arthritis acting up. Yeah, it's about to rain. Next thing you know, it
Mm,
rain.
And it's true.
right.
Yep.
But yeah, but one more
That's a
thing
good
to
point,
add,
though.
one more thing to add, you know, if you're not getting drafted at FAMU, just because you go to Georgia or Texas, you won't get drafted there, because Miami didn't have anybody get drafted this year.
Mm,
Ooh,
Zero of their players got drafted. And that's in the
and
same
out,
mm,
state as FAMU, yeah.
and
mm,
out.
So
At least we
learn
ain't.
from the comp, young man.
yeah. So, well, I
What
mean,
did? Okay, so let's talk about it. What did Primetime say?
so basically, to sum it all up, basically, Primetime was saying, "Hey, um, everybody watched the draft, and everybody knew that Bell did not get drafted. So basically, to sum up what Primetime said in a comment or post, he said basically saying, "Hey, why can't you stay at FAMU? Why are you running away from what you are being called to do? Go to HBCU and play football and make it competitive and make it a higher level of competition and get drafted there instead of entering the transfer portal." But for Prime, I feel like Prime shouldn't have said that at all because, like, basically, number one, he is the leading of the transfer portal. That's number one. He took a number one ESPN recruit from Florida State to go to an HBCU. So it's okay if all D1 players come down to the HBCUs, but if an HBCU player want to go up to express his talent, oh, he can't do that. It's a shame. It's a sin.
Uh,
It's a
listen,
And
two-way
I
street,
got one
Dion.
question. Wait, real quick, Ron. I don't mean to cut you off, baby, but I just need to ask this question for clarification. Where exactly did Deion Sanders go to school? I'll wait. Oh,
he went to that Florida State school.
you
And
telling
where
me
they
you
where they
he
where
was
they, where
down
they,
the
where,
street from what school? Wait a minute, wait a
where
minute,
they do this.
wait a minute. So you're saying that he was down the street from which
Mm.
school?
That school called Florida A&M, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical
Florida.
University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
And he didn't want to go?
actually, a true story. He went over the railroad tracks, and once
Hmm.
he went over the railroad tracks, he got in a little altercation, and he never went back over to the railroad tracks because he said them boys are something over there. Them
Hmm.
boys real over there. So he went back.
Wow.
He went back over to the
Thank
railroad
you.
tracks that he belonged.
Mm,
Because
mm.
he didn't want to. Yeah, yeah,
He
Thank
called
you,
for
Bobby
guidelines,
Boucher.
boss.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Bobby
That boy
Boucher.
got
Thank you.
deboed.
He crossed the
Because
guidelines.
I'm just trying to ascertain. You know what I'm saying? This man has got to JSU. And look, we love what he's doing with the place. Don't get me wrong. This is a not bash Deion Sanders comment. I'm just saying, sir, sir,
Hmm.
real quick, humble yourself because you didn't even go to FAMU.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. At
Preach.
least this young man tried. He not from
Hmm.
Florida.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know
Amen.
what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, granted, do we want our athletes, our top tier athletes, the one that we know can make a name, face, in community of people at
Mm-hmm.
HBCU to go to an HBCU? Yes. We're not taking that away from him. But let's also be honest. In the conversations of the NFL, okay, HBCUs are going to be at a disadvantage, period, until we are able to get to a point where we can be considered fair and equal. We ain't there
Mm-hmm.
yet, and we're not going to be there next year. And that's what that young man is thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can't sit up here and fault what our foundation is. We're not. No. That's what we've been laid to do. We have decisions to make, just like how Deion Sanders made a decision. Now, granted, I don't know. Could he have made it into the league on the fam? Maybe. But there's a slight possibility that it would have been a no. He would not have been to the Falcons. Okay. First round. First round. First round.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. Stop playing. Stop it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yes.
like, let's give him a break real quick. Let's just take a pause because we're not equal yet. I can see if HBCUs are just as equal as our Longhorns or our Tigers, all of them, all Tigers, SEC.
I wouldn't
But,
even say that. I would go more so like the North Dakota States and teams like that that actually win
but wait,
championships in
but
the
wait,
FCS.
Ron, here's my thing. You still have to make an exception to the rule. I want to be like, no, HBCUs are like the LSUs. We're
Mm.
not there yet. We're not. So in that sense, North Dakota is not LSU. Let's take HBCUs out. Now, yes, did they have some players drafted? Yes. Was it as much as LSU, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, goddamn Notre Dame, Vanderbilt,
Cincinnati
UCLA?
had
Yeah.
10 of them things.
Woo.
Come on
Georgia
now,
had
guys.
15 of them boys.
Let's give him a damn break. We don't even know why he's leaving. Y'all putting words in this young man's mouth. And even if he is, you can't fault him for that. Don't do it. Don't do
Right.
that. Especially if that's that young man's dream. And what we tell our kids, follow your dreams. Don't let
Mm-hmm.
anybody stop you.
Mm-hmm.
But now we know that the dream is faced with reality. Did Marquis Bell get drafted? No. Did he come from fam? Yes. Is it because of fam? Maybe.
But guess what?
Maybe.
He
But
got
we
he
could
got a chance.
but
He
he
got a
has an
chance.
opportunity. And that's a step. But we also cannot turn a blind eye or a deaf ear to the young men that are like, okay, I don't want to take my chances. And that's okay. I
Right.
understand that. Do we want them to go over here and stay over here? Absolutely. But let's not be chastising them for making a decision that's going to be for them anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about people getting drafted and not making it on their teams. They have to shape their reality and their future the way that they have to shape it, not how we have our predetermined ideas or opinions and none of that. That's why I
Right.
look, Deion been doing great. He's been doing fantastic. But I think he got a little too comfortable with that statement.
Yeah.
He been
I,
That's all I'm
drinking he
saying.
been drinking that Jackson State water, that delusional water.
Just a little bit.
That's what that
Just
is.
I need you to know where you are, sir, and know from whence you come. Because you didn't
I
come from us.
I agree with you, Robin. I think he's kind of overstepping. He's done a lot for HBCUs. You know, he's been kind of the face of HBCUs. But this particular situation, you can't expect players to come in and not let players leave. It's a two-way street. You know, if people coming in, you got to have people that's going to leave at the same time. So if he wants to leave, you know, if he has a dream of playing Division One football, let him follow that dream. Don't, you know, jump down his throat like, "What you doing, son? You're running away." And that's not even your
Right.
team. That's my. It's not even. It's not even. You're not even on. You know, fam. You
Right. You don't even know what conversations they had.
right.
He could
Right.
have had a conversation with Willie and been like, look, coach, I don't know what to do. This is what I'm faced with. You don't know what that conversation was like. Stop
Exactly.
it.
And
Open
So
the
he's
Kool
reaching
Aid.
and
Don't know
across.
the
He's
and the
flavor.
stepping
crazy
out of
thing
his boundaries for me.
And the crazy thing about it
Yeah.
is we was just with CFL last week and he said 12. 12 of them boys are in the portal. So at the end of the day, why are you saying something when you letting 12 go after the spring game and you ain't chastising
Stop.
them boys? You better chastise them boys
Stop.
to go to the HBCU.
Stop. Stop it now.
Like for real. No. Like chastising somebody, oh, you this and that, and oh my gosh, no, stop it. You
Mm-mm.
first of all, when it comes to Orange Blossom Classic, we gonna whoop that ass. Cause we cause
Well,
we cause, cause we owe
First,
y'all one already. That's number one. Number two, we gonna make y'all look bad because we handle our business different from what Jackson State handled their business.
brag different.
And number three, Coach,
brag different.
we brag. Thank you. We brag different. And number four,
The
Coach Willie
family
talked to
way.
the dude, and it's like, all right, I got you. I got you, Isaiah. He didn't say nothing negative about him leaving, nothing negative about going in the portal. He said, I got you. If you still want to come
Which,
here,
okay, an element of that is like, you wouldn't want to say anything bad because you don't want it to look bad on you. So I don't think that that's like strategy. I actually think he was being genuine. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying some
mm-hmm,
people just be like, girl, let me just say this just so I won't get in trouble.
mm-hmm.
Look, I done been in the transfer portal. I went to Lenore Ryan University first, so I done been through that. Like I'm talking to my coach, like, hey coach, I'm trying to go to Winston State. He's like, why you want to leave? Why you want to leave? Man, I just want to go to Winston. So we arguing, going back and forth, but it never came to me that another coach from outside of my program came and spoke to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it was between me and my coach. After we had talked
Yeah.
about it and I decided I want to leave, he granted me my wishes and gave me my permission to go to Winston State University. He even gave me a
Yeah.
contact for the offensive line coach. You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying? That's what I think the same thing happened with Coach Simmons and Isaiah, to be honest.
yep.
Definitely. Definitely. And, with prime time, since we're on the prime time matter, you know, James Houston, the problem, got drafted to the Lions. And they only really showed clips of him, being a Florida Gator. They
Ooh.
so
Notice that.
I'm gonna do what Robin do. I'm gonna do it. I'm a JSU fan. I see that. I'm like, why the hell they didn't show him going to JSU and making all these tackles
Mm-hmm.
and doing all this hoopla stuff? And that's the best defensive player that
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
SWAC had to offer.
Hmm.
But on the Lions side, you in Detroit. Who the hell is JSU? You a Detroit Lion
Mm-hmm.
fan? Who is JSU? I didn't even know Coach Prime coached there. But
Mm-hmm.
but for the Lions, it's like, okay, they know Florida. We can put his school where he went to, where he attended. Let's
Mm-hmm.
slowly roll him in the HBCU lane. I
Mm-hmm.
may be wrong. I may be right. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, they did not show none of Jackson State stuff. They just James Houston from Jackson State, and they showed a whole bunch of Florida stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
Primetime had something to say about that, because at one point in time he was about to get drafted to the Lions.
Mm-hmm. But
But
here's my thing. Yes, that's when you talk. That's when you holler. Why? Because your job now is to take care of them athletes. And he
mm-hmm,
didn't they didn't do that right. They didn't allow him to pay homage because I'm sure James wanted to be able to showcase his JSU side. That's where he went to school. That's where he getting drafted from. He didn't get drafted from the other school, right? So
mm-hmm.
yeah, Prime has every right to feel the way he felt.
Even
Every all of it.
even if they didn't like, even if they show Florida on one side, for 30 seconds, and then JSU for 30 seconds, like that's fine as long as you just give the JSU time for me, because a lot of
Right.
times these fans, like you said, they don't know who JSU is. So if you show him coming from Florida, like, oh, maybe he's better than what this JSU school is. They already have an assumption of the talent coming from JSU because they never heard of the school. So
Yeah.
if you show a little bit of Florida and then show what he did at JSU, I think that's the perfect mixture of being able to satisfy both people, because right now you're not shedding any light on HBCUs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's coming from this school, but we don't see what he did. We don't see we don't see his teammates. We don't see anything on that film of what he has done at that university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about it, I want to get this right. The person that's over the players of like the Detroit Lions, I can't really think of the right term.
Like the
Um,
player personnel.
yeah, player personnel who's over like makes the decision as far as like, okay, I want that person to get drafted. He went to North Carolina Central.
Who? What's his, you know his name?
I don't know his name, but he he
Let's
he
look
he
it up.
he he's for he literally it's a story going around saying his mom asking him why he never draft HBCU players, and you went to HBCU.
Are you talking about? Because I know like the GM and the coaches really are well for the Panthers. They're the ones that make the draft for the Panthers. I don't know if it works different from the Lions. Are you talking about a scout or
And maybe the GM. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know his name, but either he may be the GM. I know he black, and I know he went to North Carolina Central. And there's an article going around where his mom is saying like, you went to HBCU. Why don't you draft HBCU players? Because at one point in time, he told his mom he was like the competition level and all this other stuff and all that. So you bring that into play with everything else. Why wouldn't you want to showcase JSU highlight film if
yeah?
you come from an HBCU? That's my thing.
I don't think he. I don't know if he has control over that though. I think that's really the network that chooses the what's going on. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's ESPN network or NFL, wherever the draft is on, who chooses the how. I don't think he chooses the highlights that plays. So that might be the wrong person to kind of fuss at for that.
Brad Holmes, the general manager.
I think so.
He's black.
Detroit. You gotta be black to be from an HBCU. We know. Shout out to Ben. Um, Detroit Lions general manager Brad Holmes drafted. Holmes is an HBCU graduate of North Carolina A&T.
And
Hmm.
T, not
Spoke
Central.
throughout
Okay.
the yeah. Um, there's not a picture here, but the article just says, um, mom gives me crap about it all the time, saying, "Why don't you draft any HBCU players?" But I've always said that too. They have to control it too. They don't get drafted just because they're at an HBCU. They have to earn it. So these kids earned it. Last year just wasn't that caliber or process. It was a great run for HBCU. Yeah, it was a great run for HBCU players for a long time. So I guess his point of saying this now is like, okay, I'm now drafted from an HBCU player. But it's
Right.
like if that's part of your narrative, then what's the point of you showing the PWI? Make sense. Or why are they leading the amount of coverage? You like Jerry said, you can do a mixture of both. That's I mean, essentially that's both schools that have groomed him in some type of capacity. Why not show
Mm-hmm.
both? Or show more of where he did the most time. Like for instance, if you know, let's say our Isaiah Land gets, goes to the Longhorns and then gets drafted, I would expect to them to show him winning FCS, defensive player for FAM. I would expect them to
Yeah,
showcase
definitely.
his statistics at FAM in addition to what he has done this past year with the Longhorns. It works both ways. So
Yeah.
I'm like, if he really did make this statement and talk about his mama and all this stuff, I'm like, somehow adding up, the math is not math, and this is coming up error.
I mean,
Yeah.
somebody should have known something.
Yeah, because
Somebody.
why is the way it looks is that he went to what? UF?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
that's that's sad.
Well,
Brad Holmes, let's look at what he looks like.
I
But
know a lot of times like I'm trying to play devil's advocate here to trying to really find what the reason behind it. If you look at Joshua Williams' highlight tape when he was drafted, it was not high quality film. So I'm trying to play devil's advocate that maybe not Johnson, Jackson State didn't have quality film to show. Maybe I don't know if that's it, but I'm just trying to think of every possible reason that they
Jerry,
wouldn't have a
most of their games was on ESPN.
You
So
right.
you
Also,
don't have an excuse for a high quality film because ESPN only put out
at
high
all.
quality
Yeah.
stuff.
You
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
No excuse.
That's so true.
No
No
excuse.
excuse. So
Yeah.
He actually
like
just got to the Lions too. He got there January 14, 2021. He was with
okay.
the Rams before.
Dang, his mama giving him slack already. He already.
Shit, hey, that's what
They
your
get
mom
that
supposed to
with-
do.
Listen, he probably been getting slack for the longest, actually. He
Shit.
was the director of college scouting at the during the Rams. Well, no, that was back in 2013. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
he did prior to. But anyway, he worked with the Rams, bada bing, bada boom, left the Rams in 2020. He was there from 2003 to 2020.
Ooh,
Wow.
ooh. He was there for a little
And the
minute.
year that he
Yeah.
left, they went to Super Bowl.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh, sheesh. Ooh, sheesh.
You don't get
Hot,
a ring with us.
hot. It's hot. It's hot. He went cold,
Yeah.
Yeah,
literally, because Detroit is cold.
real
Mhm.
cold. Yeah, real cold. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I kind of had a problem with that too. But at the end of the day, these players got drafted. That's big ups to them. Shout outs to every HBCU player got drafted, signed,
Yes.
or is attending mini camp in the coming up month and a half because I think mini camp starts pretty soon. Yeah. So
Yeah, it
shout
should
out to
start
all the
like in
HBCU
July.
players. For real, for real.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Any shout outs y'all want to give out this week? Mother's Day coming up, happy Mother's Day. I love you, Mom.
Yes, Mom, I love you. Thank you for creating me, you and Dad, and God. It's great.
Definitely to the best mother in the world. She know who she is, Clarice Gibson. She knows she is.
Yeah,
She knows
shout,
who she
shout,
is. She's gonna watch this
shout out
later and
to
approve.
shout out to my mama. I call her Mama when I see her. What's up, Mama? Why you calling me that? Because that's what I call you since I was a little mama. So shout out to my mama. I love her.
So much
Yeah,
vowels.
she did everything. But shout out all the mothers. Shout out all the mothers that's being a mother and a father. Because,
Mm-hmm.
there are mothers being a mother and a father. And shout out to the fathers that's also being a mother. Because there are
Period.
fathers that's, out there being mothers. So, shout out to both sides of the party.
And to the godmamas.
And to the godmamas and grandmas too.
My
So
godmother.
definitely.
And the grandmothers. And the mothers who are not really mothers, but they have children, and you know who you are. I have a couple of those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
You have children. Like you have, like, especially when you work in education, they're all my kids. They're my kids. I didn't birth them, no. But they're my babies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You treat them like you want to whoop them like them and all that other stuff. Yep.
That one.
Yeah, definitely. But this is a pre-snap read, guys. We're gonna definitely tune in next week. We're gonna catch y'all boys later. Peace out.
Make sure you follow the pre-snap read on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe to make this page grow. I see y'all. I'm out.